Hey there again, guys. Welcome back to my Let's Play of Ever17. Last time was a fairly relaxing episode, I suppose. Though it does seem like they're beginning to realize that they're in some danger, especially towards the end of the last one. There were some tensions flare up. So, yeah, the kid, he had a bit of an episode. Then, before they really could deal with it good, Takeshi had a pretty good speech, but they could really deal with it. There was a big boom, and that's where I cut off. Let's get the show back on the road, shall we? A loud metallic sound echoed throughout the room. It was a blunt sound. The floor shook slightly. Everyone staggered slightly and struggled to regain their balance. But nobody tried to do anything else.
わかってるよ、たけし。そんなこと。でも、だけど、わかってたってどうすることもできないんだよ。は
！Just then, the kid knocked the sandwich out of Yu's hand. She hadn't even taken a bite out of her Tanaka special. It fell into the water with a splash and sank slowly. Bastard! What do you think you're doing? I went over and grabbed onto the kid and raised my hand. Ooh. This is a toughie. Would like to be non-violent, but maybe the kid needs a shock to the system. Tough choice. He is rather high-strung, and a good smack might be what can bring him back down to a reasonable level. But tough choice. I both hate and enjoy games that give me hard choices like this. Stupid games. Heh. Alright, well, yeah, let's bring them back down to earth. Try to get them focused. You better brace yourself. I struck the kid hard on his cheek. Oh, great. The guilt. The guilt. It hurt. It had to have hurt him. My hand even hurt. But more than the pain in the hand, my heart hurt. I let go of the kid's collar and he backed away slowly. Everyone watched us silently. Tears welled up in his eyes. Kid, look over at Tsugumi. She injured her leg terribly and almost drowned. She had surgery. If it were me, I'd probably have died. But she pulled through it. I pointed at Tsugumi. Tsugumi stood silently. The kid timidly raised his eyes to look at her, but he soon stared at the floor again.
でも、たけしがそんなこと言ったってさ、僕はつぐみじゃないんだ。みんな同じじゃないんだから。無理だよ。僕には無理だ。そんなに強くないんだよ。そんなに強くなれないよ。生きてなんかいられない。生きていられないんだよ。だから、だったらいっそのこと。
I didn't want to make him say the rest. but I couldn't stop him. I knew how hard it would be for him to say. Even I wasn't that strong. Everyone waited for the kid's next words in silence. They were probably unthinkable.
で、どうしたいの？ん？どうしたいの？あなたは。
Tsugumi took a step forward and stared at the kid. Those eyes were unfeeling and quiet.
ねえ、教えてよ。少年がどうしたいのか知りたいわ。
Softly she approached the kid, one step at a time. I'm not sure what her motivations are. Although I suppose that she is the most empathetic, probably, to his thoughts. Compared to, since she had been talking about pretty similar stuff before. So, she's probably trying to talk him down from it. Everyone was so caught off guard that they couldn't move, couldn't say a word.
どうしたの？言えないの？
He tried to say something, but no words would come out of his mouth. He had also forgotten how to back away. Tsugumi went up to the kid and touched him.
生きていたくないの？
The kid tried to nod, but his head wouldn't budge.
じゃあ、死んじゃいたいの？
The kid couldn't respond either.
何か言ってよ。お願いだから。私にはよくわかんないの。
Tsugumi asked the kid, her tone neutral.
ねえ、どっちなの？あなたは死にたいの？あなたは生きたいの？そう。答えられないんだ。だったらもう二度とそんなこと言わないで。ね？
The kid broke down in tears and fell to the floor, covered in water.
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
Yu suddenly spurred into action, ran over to the kid and wrapped her arms around his shoulders. Sora looked down and covered her face with her hands. She was trembling. Coco and Pee-Pee were staring at everyone, speechless. Tsugumi? Not knowing what else to say, I just stood there. I looked at her face. But I couldn't read what she was thinking from her expression.
たけし、ちょっとこっちに来て。
Seeing that I was confused, Tsugumi ran over to me. Eyebrows raised, she glared at me strongly. What was she thinking? Ouch! Okay, so physical abuse going on about. It appear. Well, what are you doing? That hurts.
いいから来なさい。さあ、早く。
Totally clueless, I followed along behind her. She had grabbed my ear and mercilessly tugged. Let me go, Tsugumi. Why are you doing this? Wordlessly, she doggedly moved forward. She kept a firm grip on me and kept pulling so that I couldn't get away. I have no clue what she's wanting. Either she's wanting to check out what that boom was, talk about her feelings about the kid, or start the LeMU suicide hotline. It's probably the first one. You'll rip my ear off. It's seriously going to come off. Sheriff. This is killing me. Let me go, please. We kept climbing the stairs. She wouldn't let go no matter how I pleaded, so I finally shut up. It's not doing any good, it doesn't seem. And when we finally made it to the second floor, she let go of my ear. Ugh, thank heavens. I mean, what are you doing? Are you crazy?
うるさいわね。やっと黙ったと思ったのに。
Skimmy let out a big sigh. What's that face supposed to mean?
見ての通り、がっかりしてるのよ。あなたに。
Oh, for hitting the kid. She furrowed her brow and looked at me. She pinched the bridge of her nose and shook her head. She looked completely fed up. Okay. Skimmy turned and she started walking away from me. Hey, wait a second. Why? What's with you? Did I do something to you? I hurried over to her and insisted that she answer me. Now wait a second. Actually, she hasn't actually beat Takeshi up. Actually, she did come close when she wasn't gentle when she tried to scrub his face off earlier. But other than that, she has actually been rather non-violent, despite... No, she did slap him yet, though, that's right. When he yanked her dress up. But besides them two things, I'm probably gonna think of another thing. But she has been surprisingly non-violent towards him. Because he's probably deserved it more than he's got.
違う。あなたはまるで分かってない。
And throwing back her shoulders, she picked up her pace. What don't I understand? I mean, things were getting out of hand back there. If you hadn't said something, I don't know how it would have turned out. I'm glad you did. I'm really sorry and thanks. Hey, wait, Sagumi. I kept yelling as I chased after her. You of all people know how serious this situation is, right? So, how come you're... No, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. You're angry at me, right? Why are you so mad? Please tell me. Sagumi stopped at the entrance to Quali.
ええ、分かったわ。くだらない質問だけど、答えてあげる。
Okay. Okay, I'm back to being scared by that look now. All of a sudden, Sagumi smiled at me. I flinched. You learned something, Takeshi.
あなた、さっき自分で何て言ったか覚えてる？
Me, let's see. I was fairly angry, so I don't really remember very well. It might not have been all there at the time. But you know, I really don't think I said anything wrong to the kid. And I'm sure about that.
そう。間違ってはなかったみたいね。だからよ。だから怒ってるの。
Tsugumi jumped onto the jellyfish gondola. So she's mad at me because I wasn't wrong. Boy, emotions are flying around everywhere in this scene. I got on soon after her and closed the door. The gondola zipped into the tube and out into the ocean.
冗談じゃない。
Oh, she just needs somebody to yell at. Okay. Tsugumi pounded the shell of the jellyfish with her fist. I was fixing to see if I had to take back my non-violent association of her. Her expression was one of annoyance again. I could tell. The gondola swayed slightly as it moved slowly forward.
生きてさえいればいい。仲間なんだから協力しろですって。そうやって押し付けて、強要して、詭弁を並べ立てて。
無責任にも程がある。あなたは一体何者なのよ。よくもまあそんなことが言えたものね。
So, what else could I do? It's better than just standing by and watching him sink in despair. It's better to have a little hope than nothing at all, right?
偽善者。
Well, you know what? You're selfish and self-righteous. And you're always faking like you don't care about anyone. You go around hurting people on purpose and making them feel like crap. And now you're trying to make me look bad.
違う。わざわざしてるわけじゃない。いろんなことが気に入らないだけよ。
Liar. That's not the way you want things to happen in your heart, and you know that. Why do you have to lash out at everything? Why can't you just be yourself for once?
違う。素直じゃないのはあなた。
I'm always myself.
ひねくれ者。
That's funny coming from you. This isn't what we were talking about anyway. Why are you so angry? If I did something wrong, then I guess I deserve it. If there really is a good reason, then hey, I won't complain. So come on, tell me. I won't argue with you, just tell me what it is.
知りたい？そんなに。
Tsugumi sat back down in the gondola. I guess she's not too mad at him because he is touching her shoulder and he still has his arm attached, so I guess it's okay between them. Her tone had almost returned to normal. Yeah, of course. She hesitated a bit, but soon came to sit next to me. Tsugumi looked straight ahead. She didn't try to look at me.
どうして？
Because I want to know. Because I want to know what my friends are thinking. I put my hand lightly on her shoulder. I was becoming more and more worried. Maybe she was still trying to be stubborn. Tsugumi didn't try to shake off my hand, but just sat there.
そうね。私も仲間とやらになったのよね。
Oh, really? So I'm not the only one that's been thinking of them as the gang or whatever. Been referencing to them like the gang, like the Scooby-Doo gang or whatever.
聞きたければ聞けばいい。答えてあげるわよ。私は所詮あなたの仲間なんだから。
Why do you have to say it like that? You're not still... Tsugumi thrust her hand into her pocket and took something out.
たけしはこれなんだか知ってるわよ。
Chummy. The Jungarian hamster. Who cares? Where the heck did you pull that from?
ポケット。
I know that. That's not what I'm asking. Don't just shove them out and talk about them as this. Hamsters are delicate living creatures and you should be careful with them.
そうよね。でもしょうがないじゃない。この子の居場所は他にないもの。
Chami stood in Tsugumi's hand. He twitched his nose and looked up at both our faces inquisitively. Tsugumi stroked Chami softly with the tip of her finger.
ねえ、たけし。こうするとどうなるか知ってる？
Tsugumi grasped both of her hands tightly together. In between the cracks of her fingers I could see Chami's soft, warm-looking gray fur. Soon his body disappeared entirely in her
どうなる
hands.
か知ってる？
Idiot! Cut it out!
ねえ、答えてよ。
Tsugumi started to squeeze harder. Chami, who only the tip of his nose was visible, turned his beady eyes towards Tsugumi. What are you talking about? It's totally obvious. What a stupid question. You want to talk about stupid questions? There's one for you. She started squeezing more. The space between her fingers got smaller and smaller. Chami twisted his body and started to struggle. Cut it out, Tsugumi. If you go on like that, Chami's going to... The hamster looked at Tsugumi and me. At the end, I thought He even let out a small breath. Tsugumi crushed her hands together with all of her might. They pressed together, her hands were shaking with the effort. From the cracks of her fingers, red droplets started to fall.
ねえ、たけし、チャミはどうなったと思う？
Tsugumi's voice was also
答え
shaking.
てよ。
答えてよ。
No. You think I'm going to answer to you that? Open your hands. Tsugumi, open up your hands. Please, just open them up. Now. Her hands were shaking heavily as they opened. Chami. Tsugumi, what have you done? He was dead, and his fur was slightly wet. Chami looked like a dirty old dish rag. Probably all of the bones in his body were broken. All of the blood had probably been squeezed from his body. He probably hadn't had any time to wonder it had happened so fast. His life had been extinguished.
ねえ、たけし、知ってる？これからどうなると思う？
Tsugumi, cut it out. I shook Tsugumi's shoulders violently. I thought for sure that I would knock her down. I forced her to look at me, but Tsugumi was crying and her lips trembled as she bit down on them.
たけし、どうして答えてくれないのよ。
Tsugumi's crying. That's a first, I think. Chami is dead. He won't ever move again. In her hand, Chami seemed to move faintly, as if he had woken up suddenly. His movements were stiff and barely visible and extremely slow, but he was actually moving. His heart had started beating again, and he had started thinking again, breathing again. He shook himself off slightly, fluttered his ears, and twitched his nose. He got up on shaking legs and even tried to stand. However, there was still blood on her hand.
ねえ、たけし、チャミ、どうなった？
Our gondola at Quali had already passed the entrance to the ride twice and was just starting to make its third pass. One pass really wasn't that long. Altogether, we had only been on it between just over 10 minutes. In that brief time, he had returned to normal and was sitting up on her palm, staring at the two of us inquisitively.
この子はね、
Tsugumi was petting Chami softly again with the tip of her finger. You know, I don't think I mentioned this, but I had actually thought that something similar to Shawshank Redemption, not Shawshank Redemption, Green Mile, yeah. It's freaky. I doubt it's a reference though.
少年とは違うの。あなたとも違うの。見たでしょ？これが現実。
Yeah, that was real different. You got that right.
チャミはウイルスに侵されている。最初に触ろうとした時、チャミが爪を立てた。私の手に噛みついて、チャミは血を浴びた。だからチャミは私と同じになった。
No. Oh. No way. No way, I don't believe you. Still couldn't believe her. Or what she had told me about the virus earlier. Or what had happened right in front of me then.
ほら、生きてるわ、この子。
Tsugumi murmured as she looked down.
生きてる。 息してるし、心臓も動いてるよ。でも痛かったよね。苦しかったよね。私ひどいことしちゃったよね。ごめんね、チャミ。ごめんね。許して。私が悪かったの。でも生きててよかったね。
I started shaking Tsugumi's shoulders again. What the hell are you talking about? How can you say something like that? You just put him through something unimaginable and now you're just saying it's okay because you're alive.
違う。
Tsugumi brushed my hands off.
あなたが言ったのよ。あの時たけしが言ったじゃないの。生きてさえいればって。それがどうなの？見たでしょ？チャミがどんな目にあったか、私がどんな目に遭わせたのか。たけしだって今見たでしょ？生きてさえいればいいなんて、そんなことはない。絶対にない。私はそんなの信じない。生きてるだけじゃ生きてるとは言えないのよ。
どう？わかる？わからない？たけし、答えてよ。ねえ、チャミにはわかる？
Figured Takeshi's very, very confused. Her face was pointing down. I couldn't see her expression. From the picture, it isn't happy. I can tell you that. But it didn't have to. I knew what it was. Tsugumi was crying silently. Countless tears fell from her face, like raindrops falling one by one onto the red-stained floor of Quali. I didn't know what to say. No words seemed adequate.
ねえ、私が何回死んだか知ってる？
She was trying to stay as calm as she could. I have no idea. I scarcely could move my lips as I
私
replied.
もう覚えてない。そのウイルスのキャリアは当初世界でも十数人と言われた。その中でも私は少し特殊だった。2005年8月、12歳の私は父親の仕事の関係で家族と一緒に渡米していた。その頃の私の友達ジュリア、同い年の彼女はアメリカのとある病院に入院中だった。不治の病だと言われていたが、悪性の腫瘍であちこちに転移して手の施しようがなかったそうよ。でも私は何度もお見舞いに通った。友人ジュリアのために。微笑んでいる彼女が余命いくばくもないなんて私は信じなかった。もしも奇跡というものがあったら、もしも私が祈ることで彼女が治るのなら、せめて痛みや苦しみを和らげることができたなら、そう考えた。そんなある日、私は事故に遭った。
An accident? Is that how you got the virus?
いいえ、病院を出た途端に18輪トレーラーにはねられた。
It's pretty harsh.
全身を骨折、筋断裂多数、意識不明、呼吸停止、絶望的な状態だけど、なぜか私は死ななかった。そして数ヶ月後、見知らぬ場所で私は目覚めた。
Where am I? It's a hospital. Which one? Well, I don't really know either. You don't know? I don't know why, but I don't know. My name's Tsugumi. Tsugumi Komachi. You? Huh? What is your name? Well, I don't know that either. Sucks, huh?
記憶喪失の少年の隣で私は目覚めた。
So, this has been 30 minutes, so I believe this is as good a cutoff point as any. Apparently there is a bit more to this game than I remember, so we're not quite near the end yet. I really can't remember exactly how much further, but it'll be eventually there. This has been quite a serious episode. Some serious stuff. So it looks like we're going to finally get good background info on Tsugumi, so you can hear her, should hear the majority of her explanation on the next episode of Ever17, The Out of Infinity. I do hope you folks enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next one. Farewell.